So, hi everyone, greetings to all of you. This is our project that is called Classroom Management for Students Speaking in English. I am Bryan Guzmán.
I am Viviana Guazhima.
I am Yerika Tacuri.
So, in these slides, we will present our project and the context of our project first of all, because it is the basis for everything that we will show.
The context. Well, our problem is grounded in the United English classes experiences where several students manifested it.
So, as it says here, it was noticed that students didn't use English to talk each other. This was noticed even when the teachers encouraged the students to speak among themselves, since this was found to be really useful, to practice speaking skills, something that is really lucky in our classrooms usually. So we will just see the next one, please. So we first have this thing, data collection methods. When it comes to data collection, we have just have taken these three questions as basis, which are called the TP, the OP, and the B. TP stands for teacher perceptions, the OP stands for others perceptions, and the B for behavior. Each question of this part of the white of the table belongs to each of them at the left part, the blue part. The first one is for the teachers, because we conducted interviews to the teachers to know their perceptions on this subject. The OP, that is the others. In this case, the others are the students, since we interviewed some students to carry out this project. And the B is for behavior. The behavior refers to the frequency of the problem that we noticed. So let's proceed.
Well, the next part is the teacher's interview. Through the interview with the teacher, we have linked similarities in the answers that help us to form codes which provided us with information about the problem mentioned above. The teacher interview codes are: number 1, Spanish students' native language. This represents students who are not used to speak English in class and instead use Spanish as the easiest form of communication. The number 2, lack of practice purity. This means that the lack of practice in speaking doesn't allow a good development of this skill and can affect even more when we go to the highest levels. The number 3, overall behavior, teacher's motivation. This means that task-based activities performed by the teacher are necessary to encourage students to use English to speak in various contexts that only require it. And number 4, information gap. Students speak more when interested. This means that oral expressions must also be based on real topics that are of interest to students, establishing information gaps that help develop language skills.
Here we have the students' interview, where we could get 4 main codes. I'll give you a few seconds to read what the student said. So, the first code is lack of vocabulary. Students most of the time can't find the correct English expression or the correct English words to express what they are thinking or they are feeling in the moment. The second is activities in group. Students don't feel comfortable interacting with the students who they don't know too well, so they tend to use Spanish. The third one is intimidated with higher levels. As we know, in our classroom we have students with different levels. If we have a group of 6 students and 3 of them have the lowest levels and the others have the highest level, these students with lowest level are gonna feel ashamed by them, and they are not gonna use English because they are gonna think that the others are gonna judge their levels. And the last one is pressure. The students tend to use English among themselves when the teacher pressures them to do it. After we codify the codes of the teacher interview and the student's interview, we get these factors. In the right side, you will see the factors that make them feel discouraged, lack of practice, unfamiliarity with other students, intimidated with higher levels, and lack of vocabulary. In the other side, we can find the factors that make them feel encouraged, information gap, and pressure to speak. As you can see, there are more factors that make them feel discouraged than factors that make them feel encouraged. So now my classmates are gonna explain you the findings that we could get.
So we will start with this one. That is the first one, that is called the lack of practice as the poor development of speaking cause. This refers to the fact that this is like the main cause of students for not speaking in class among themselves, but this is also one of the main causes for not developing the speaking skills. Here we have also the second one that is called when students feel like intimidated in the presence of others with higher level. This has been already explained, but this refers to the fact that students like don't feel like they are like are fulfilling with expectations of others with higher levels, or they just don't really feel very confident need to other students that they don't know really well and have other levels. And as last one, we have when students do not participate in classes due to lack of vocabulary. This is like a little bit like linked with the first one, because if they don't practice, they will not develop a really broad vocabulary just to speak. They will not find the words they need to speak as they will do in the modern language. So we will proceed with the following points.
Well, the following findings are: in the number 4, when the students are asked to speak to classmates, they have trust issues. This means that the student doesn't have the confidence to speak with peers with whom he doesn't interact frequently and therefore doesn't feel safe to express himself freely. And the number 5 and 6 mean that students are encouraged to speak English in class when they find it useful or curious. It is necessary to obtain information through the language that contributes to the rapid acquisition of this. This makes students feel pressured by the task. They feel motivated to speak English. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yes, thank you so much. If you have any question, we will answer it.